Imagine a fish with teeth so large it can't close its mouth. Picture a shark that's been around since the dinosaurs, with 300 needle-sharp teeth arranged in 25 rows. Now think of a creature with a transparent head, its glowing green eyes visible through its skull. These aren't monsters from a sci-fi movie. They're real animals living in the depths of our oceans. Our journey begins just below the surface, where sunlight still penetrates the water. Here, we encounter our first otherworldly creature, the Portuguese Man-of-War. Don't be fooled by its beautiful blue color. This isn't a single animal, but a colony of organisms working together. Its tentacles can stretch up to 165 feet, longer than a blue whale, and are armed with venomous stingers that can cause excruciating pain to humans and death to small fish. Even a dead man-of-war washed up on the beach can deliver a painful sting, so beware if you ever spot one. As we descend deeper, the light starts to fade, and we enter the twilight zone. At about 660 feet, we meet the viperfish, with needle-like teeth so long it can't close its mouth. This predator is the stuff of nightmares. Its lower jaw unhinges like a snake's, allowing it to swallow prey nearly as large as itself. But its most striking feature is the light-producing organ on its dorsal fin, which it uses to lure unsuspecting victims close enough to strike. The viperfish's eyes are adapted to detect the faintest glimmers of light, giving it a significant hunting advantage in the dimly lit waters. Our next stop takes us 3,000 feet below the surface, where we encounter the vampire squid. Don't let its small size fool you. This blood-red creature with glowing blue eyes isn't just creepy, it's practically immortal. The vampire squid can turn itself inside out, creating a defensive web of sticky tentacles. Any predator foolish enough to attack gets tangled in this living nightmare. But here's the truly bizarre part. The vampire squid doesn't hunt. Instead, it collects marine snow, a mixture of dead plankton, fish scales, and bacteria, using two long filaments. These filaments are covered in sticky cells that trap the falling debris, which the squid then wipes off and eats. But that's just the beginning. As we descend deeper, the real horrors emerge. Meet the frilled shark, a living fossil that's barely changed in 80 million years. Picture a snake-like body with 300 needle-sharp teeth arranged in 25 rows. This prehistoric monster can stretch its jaw to swallow prey half its size whole. Its flexible skull allows it to swallow prey much larger than its narrow body would suggest possible. The frilled shark gets its name from its 6 pairs of gill slits, which form a frilly collar around its neck. This ancient predator is rarely seen by humans, preferring to stay in the dark depths where it can ambush its prey. Now, hold your breath as we plunge into the midnight zone, 13,000 feet down. Here, in the inky blackness, lurks the giant isopod. Imagine a pill bug the size of a football, with alien-like compound eyes and razor-sharp mandibles. These armored scavengers can go years without eating, waiting patiently in the darkness for dead animals to fall from above. Their tough exoskeletons can withstand the crushing pressure at these depths, allowing them to scuttle across the ocean floor in search of their next meal. Giant isopods are related to the small roly-polies you might find in your garden, but they've adapted to the extreme conditions of the deep sea, growing to monstrous sizes. But even the giant isopod looks cuddly compared to our next creature. The black swallower is a fish with an appetite that defies belief. Its elastic stomach allows it to devour prey up to 10 times its own size. Scientists have found black swallowers that literally ate themselves to death, their bodies rupturing from the massive meals inside. This extreme feeding strategy is an adaptation to the scarcity of food in the deep sea, where a single meal might have to last for months. The black swallower's jaw is not attached to its skull, allowing it to open incredibly wide and engulf large prey whole. As we approach the deepest parts of the ocean, brace yourself for the stuff of nightmares. The goblin shark looks like something straight out of a horror movie. Its long, blade-like snout hides a secret weapon, a jaw that can shoot forward faster than a striking snake. Rows of needle-like teeth ensure that once caught, there's no escape for its prey. The goblin shark's pale pink color comes from blood vessels visible through its semi-transparent skin, adding to its ghostly appearance. This living fossil has remained virtually unchanged for 125 million years, earning it the nickname living fossil. Speaking of inescapable fates, let's talk about the zombie worms. These creatures don't have mouths or stomachs. Instead, they drill into the bones of dead whales using acid-secreting roots. They then let bacteria digest the bone marrow for them. Imagine a whole colony of these worms, slowly consuming a whale skeleton in the dark. This bizarre feeding strategy allows them to thrive in the food-scarce deep sea, turning the massive skeletons of whales into thriving oases of life. Scientists only discovered these worms in 2002, and they're still uncovering new species and learning about their strange biology. But perhaps the most terrifying creature of the deep isn't a predator at all. The barreleye fish looks normal at first glance, until you realize its entire head is transparent. You can see right through its skull to its glowing green eyes, which can rotate to look straight up. Why? To spot the silhouettes of prey swimming above it in the dim light. The transparent head acts like a dive helmet, protecting its sensitive eyes as it searches for food in the dark waters. This fish can pivot its eyes forward to see what it's eating, a unique adaptation to life in the deep sea. As we continue our journey, we encounter the fangtooth fish. Don't let its small size fool you. This creature has the largest teeth in proportion to its body of any fish in the ocean. Its teeth are so big that it can't fully close its mouth. The fangtooth's eyes are tiny, as vision isn't very useful in the pitch-black deep sea. Instead, it relies on pressure-sensitive organs along its body to detect movement in the water, allowing it to ambush its prey. Despite its fearsome appearance, the fangtooth is only about 6 inches long, but in the deep sea, it's a formidable predator. Next, we come across the bizarre and terrifying coffin fish. This anglerfish relative can inflate its body with water, turning itself into a ball-like shape to appear larger to potential predators. But its most striking feature is the fishing rod-like appendage on its head, complete with a bioluminescent lure. The coffin fish uses this to attract prey in the darkness, luring them close enough to be sucked into its surprisingly large mouth. Its ability to inflate itself also helps it maintain neutral buoyancy in the water, conserving energy in an environment where food is scarce. As we near the end of our journey, we meet the giant tube worms. These bizarre creatures can grow up to 8 feet long and live clustered around hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor. They have no mouth or digestive system. Instead, they rely on symbiotic bacteria living inside them to convert chemicals from the vent water into food. The sight of these massive red tubes waving in the current, surrounded by billowing black smoke from the vents, is both alien and awe-inspiring. These worms can live for over 250 years, making them some of the longest-lived animals on Earth. As we ascend from the depths, our final encounter is with the anglerfish. You might recognize this creature from Finding Nemo, but the reality is far more disturbing. The female anglerfish has a bioluminescent lure growing out of her head, which she uses to attract prey in the darkness. But here's the truly horrifying part. The male anglerfish is tiny and can't survive on his own. He latches onto the female, literally fusing his body with hers until he's nothing more than a pair of gonads, providing sperm on demand. This extreme dimorphism is one of the most bizarre reproductive strategies in the animal kingdom. Some species of anglerfish can have up to 8 males fused to a single female. These creatures might seem like the stuff of science fiction, but they're very real, living in the vast, unexplored regions of our oceans. And here's a chilling thought to leave you with. Scientists estimate we've only discovered about 5% of the ocean species. What other terrifying creatures are lurking in the depths, waiting to be found? The next time you're at the beach, remember, you're only scratching the surface of a world filled with living nightmares. The deep sea remains one of the last great frontiers on our planet, full of mysteries waiting to be unraveled and creatures beyond our wildest imagination.